curse that held Uma proved hard to lift, but Yennefer and the Witchers managed to do it. The ugliest man alive revealed himself to be not man, but elf, and an elven sage at that. Avalach, for this was his name, was the elven mage who had helped Ciri flee the hunt, then hidden her away on the Isle of Mists.
Wolfhead. I know this place. They held the first trials of the grasses here before they built the fortress. Almost washed away. A few more decades and it'll be gone. Just like the Witchers. The place where monster slayers were created, now infested with monsters, near dripping with irony. Mutations were carried out here. Nice acoustics. Kids' screams must have carried far. Show me what you got. That smell. Mutagens. Makes me want to vomit despite the years. Table for mutations. Like our sad Albert, except even sadder. Table for mutations. Like our sad Albert, except even sadder. That smell. Mutagens. Makes me want to vomit despite the years. Where they brewed the potions. Poisons, more like. Table for mutations. Like our sad Albert, except even sadder. Some contraption. Broken. A vat for seeping the herbs. I remember those teas they gave us. No idea what this was for. Maybe that's for the better. That smell. Mutagens. Makes me want to vomit despite the years. No idea what this was for. Maybe that's for the better.
In beast's clothing, they entered his hut and began to search. First they tore through his bed. Dry twigs covered the sheet. That was the first proof, for werewolves return at dawn after a night of hunting, their bare feet covered in the forest's droppings. They found the second proof under his bed, a wolf's hide. The werewolf surely dressed himself in it when transforming with the setting sun, and shed it again when he turned to man the next day. Having found these powerful proofs, they ceased deliberation and began a hunt, vowing to find the lycanthrope and bind him in silver chains.
Werewolf. Werewolves are creatures with both men and wolves inside them. When in beastly form, they take the worst traits of each. The wolf strives to kill and hunger for raw flesh, and the man's cruel and calculating intelligence. A werewolf's condition comes about through a curse, and the transformations happen outside his conscious control. When he reverts to human form, he has no memory of his deeds, otherwise he would surely go mad and take his own life. Werewolves are active at night, particularly when the moon is full. Though they hunt alone, when threatened they will summon wolves to aid them. Werewolves rarely feel the need to flee, for few adversaries put up much of a fight against them. They strike as swiftly as lightning with claws sharp as razors and regenerate any damage received in mere moments. When fighting werewolves, the witches wield a blade covered in all harmful to the cursed and have a large supply of devil's puffballs handy. A werewolf's curse can at times be lifted, yet there is no universal, surefire method for doing this. A witcher seeking to undertake such a task must equip himself with a great deal of patience and sturdy armor.
My evening with the vampire. You will no doubt call me a liar, a cheat and a madman. You will shake your head in pity and snort in disbelief, but I promise you, I swear by all the gods, everything which you shall read in the pages to follow is the truth, the whole truth and nothing but the truth. I met the vampire of which I write years ago, in an inn in Beauclair. He introduced himself to me as Regis and said he was a barber and a medic. Since he looked in every aspect like a mortal man, I might never have even suspected his true nature, had not a fire broken out shortly thereafter in the establishment in which we were residing. This Regis, if that truly was his name, stood completely untouched by the flames, whereas my own clothing quickly caught fire. The vampire carried me out of the burning inn, saving my life from certain death. then treated my numerous wounds. At first Regis refused to answer my query as to how he had miraculously survived the furnace-like temperatures inside the burning inn without so much as a scratch on his body or a hair singed on his head. Eventually, however, he must have sensed I was a man of the world, one who would not jump to hasty judgments based on appearance or species, and revealed his identity, along with a great number of highly interesting facts. According to Regis, not all vampires are alike. This vast family contains both mindless catechins, fliggers and Ekimmaras, who in form resemble overgrown bats far more than humans, as well as Alps and Bruxae, who look remarkably like comely maids. In addition to these, there are the even more powerful higher vampires, to which genus belonged my unexpected acquaintance. Not even a witcher can discern a higher vampire from a mortal man. Contrary to popular belief, they cannot be killed by pounding aspen stakes into their chests nor by cutting off their heads, nor, as I can vouch for based on personal experience, by fire. They do not fear running water, garlic, or the symbols of any creed. It might be some consolation to learn of vampires, but it does not turn a human into one of their number, and they do not in any way need our blood in order to survive. To them, it is merely a delicacy in which they indulge from time to time, like men do with fine wine. Regis asked me to keep his tale to myself, but now, as I lay on my deathbed, I feel that I must share this secret knowledge, even if it means breaking my word to this most noble individual.
Ekimmaras. Bah, ain't nothing to fear. Ekimmaras, why, they ain't nothing more than overgrown bats. Anonymous city guardsman's last words.
Like other vampires, Ekimmaras are not, despite what village gossips might say, indeed humans. They are instead post-conjunction monsters who have no particular feelings about garlic, holy water or religious symbols. Unlike their portrayals in ballads and legends, they look nothing like handsome, pale aristocrats with charming Eastern accents, though, like Carticans and Nicorats, they do bear a strong resemblance to overgrown bats. They also do not suck blood from the necks of virgins with a delicate, kiss-like bite. They tear them to shreds using long, sharp claws and then slur the splattered blood off the ground. Ekimmaras are unusually cruel and exceptionally swift. They are able to quickly land blow after blow, capable of smashing even the best Mahakaman-made armor into tiny shards. They should be fought with a silver sword, remembering that they can regenerate back health over time. One should thus never attempt to tire them out or, God forbid, wait for them to bleed to death. Instead, cut them down as quickly as possible and, if possible, burn the body to ash and scatter it to the four winds.
Higher vampire. Only a mutual thirst for blood links higher vampires to their distant and much more primitive cousins, Ekimmaras, Alps, catechins, and the like. Higher vampires are, in fact, much more similar to humans than to those bat-like blood slurpers. They not only resemble us in appearance, but also share our intelligence and behavioral patterns. This means they do not squat in distant forests or hide in the shadows. On the contrary, they are particularly fond of cities, where they live out deceivingly normal lives. Even witchers are not capable of recognizing them at once, for their medallions remain perfectly motionless in the presence of higher vampires. Yet all these similarities should not blind us to an essential difference. Unlike men, higher vampires are immortal. Those who have faced them in combat and survived can be counted on one hand. It is a witcher's good fortune that higher vampires are extremely rare, and not all are dangerous to humans. Though they do have a taste for blood, they do not need to drink it to survive. Some higher vampires have renounced feeding on humans altogether and do no harm to anyone, but others give in to their desires. A witcher who braves fighting a higher vampire must bear in mind that he faces a monster endowed with incredible strength, one able to manipulate men and animals, turn invisible and transform into a giant bat, and furthermore one which it is nearly impossible to kill. In other words, even an experienced monster slayer should think twice before accepting a contract on one of these creatures, even if half a kingdom and a princess hand is in the offing.
Come on, come closer.